Hello, everybody, and welcome to this session. Welcome to Designing Your Professional Career. This is a workshop that we have prepared especially for you, INBA students here in ESIC. First of all, I would like to, share with you a little bit about myself. Who am I? Why am I here? And why maybe I think you can trust me. So let me, as I was saying, explain a little bit who am I, what I'm currently doing. I work as executive coach for different organizations and also in, let's say, both professional and personal development. I'm also an HR consultant and project manager. I work with organizations to focus on the human resources side to make sure that we have a positive impact in employees' life, in other people's life, and my main focus is to make the experience of employees more positive. I work also as a trainer, focused on soft skills such as leadership, communication, and also high-performing teams. How did I get here? Well, I have invested a little bit of time in studying and getting ready for this. I went to Manchester, to United Kingdom, to study the master's degree in human resources management and international development. I have also studied NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I'm master practitioner trained by Meta International. I'm expert in emotional intelligence and also instructor of high impact activities. And with, let's say, this package, what I want you today is to get a space for you to think about what you want to do in your professional career, and I will be providing you some tools and techniques to to offer the best of yourself, both in selection processes or when designing your professional career. So let's go ahead, and let me tell you. First of all, you need to think about what you want. And my suggestion is that you take a piece of paper and you draw a line in the middle, and you start thinking and writing about what you want. But what you want in terms of your professional life. What I mean by this is, imagine yourself, let's say in 5 years' time, imagine yourself where you would like to be. Imagine yourself as a professional. What type of professional would you like to be? Who will be around you? What type of teams? What type of environment, organizations? Think about that. Think about the details. The more detail you do this exercise, the better it's going to be. Why? Because you are preparing your mind, you're setting your mind to reach that specific goal. So things that you can think about are, for instance, the type of organization that you would like to be in, the type of role. Keep in mind that you're thinking about 5 years' time, okay? So what type of role, what level in the organization will be working at? Think also about, as I was saying, the type of teams or team members that you will be interacting with. And also that is quite important, is to think about the type of professional. What will you like to be, or how will you like other people to describe you, right? What's the essence that you would like to transpire to other people and to yourself, okay? But in this exercise, let's not focus only on what you want as a professional. And this is exactly what I was saying, to divide this piece of paper in two. Because in one side, you would write what you want as a professional, But in the other side of the paper, I recommend you that you write about personal things. What type of things, of activities would you like to be doing? Okay. What type of life would you like to have? And what are the main, let's say, features of your life, of your personal life, that are sustaining also the satisfaction and happiness? Why am I suggesting this? Because if you think about the two sides of your life, it's going to make almost a 360 picture that you will have for yourself. And you can use this as an inspiration, as a focus, and as a goal to start walking towards that. At the end of the page, I suggest that you write the steps, that you think about the steps that you want to make in order to reach those goals. Why? Because you are focusing your thoughts in that future, in that near future. 5 years' time is not that much. So you can focus on that, but then you give a step backwards and start to think, what are the steps that I need to take from where I stand right now to where I want to be? What type of training do I need? What type of experience do I need? What type of career path do I need to take to get there? Why? Because things just don't happen in a heartbeat. Things happen because we make them happen. Okay? So please take 5 minutes to work on this exercise. Even if you can give yourself more, that's going to be even better. Why? Because in 5 minutes it's kind of, fast thinking. But if you give yourself more time, you will be surprised probably with the information that you get out of that. And my recommendation, again, is that you use that paper as an inspiration. So make sure you don't lose it. Make sure maybe you place it somewhere visible for you so that you keep that in mind. But as important as what you want to do, or what you want to have, or what you want to reach, or what you want to become, as important as that is, what you don't want, right? Think also about things that you are not really willing to do, or that are not part of what you want to become. Because you may have maybe doubts about things that you want to reach or that you want to do, but you probably have things that for sure you don't want to go for that. So either in another page or in the back side of your page, you can write those things that for sure you don't want to do. This is not to focus on that. It's just to remind you what you want and what you don't want. This is very interesting, and let me share with you a story, because quite often in coaching sessions we find people with difficulties or with issues because they are doing what they didn't want to be doing. They have a job right now that maybe it's not fulfilling, but just because life goes by and then you start walking and suddenly you wonder where you are or what you are doing that. So if you remind yourself the things that you don't want to be doing, it's kind of like an alert call, or just like a wake-up call to, hey, be careful, you're doing or you're becoming that person that you don't want to be. So very important to think about that. Keep in mind that those wake-up calls, and react to that, okay? So good luck with that exercise, and I hope you enjoy it. Also, another kind of tip if you want to make this exercise even more, more deep, you can use some music, for instance, that inspires you. Make sure you do this type of exercises in an environment that will allow your concentration and that will make you feel good. Why? Because basically you're working on designing or on painting your future. So make sure you find a good spot, use some music, use those little things that make you feel comfortable, and enjoy the exercise. So after doing this exercise, you can also start to deepen in self-awareness. And this is not just something to just be aware of. No, self-awareness is much more. It's much deeper. Why? Because sometimes we have an image of ourselves, a self-image, that maybe is not exactly what other people are thinking about ourselves or are perceiving. Let's not think about what other people think about me or whatever. No, it's what they perceive. Maybe they perceive I'm good at something, but I don't really know it, right? Why? Because I've always been like this, so I didn't think it was something special. Maybe you found yourself thinking about something like that. So for this, to improve your self-awareness, I recommend also another exercise. But first, let me explain a little bit about a very interesting concept and very interesting model, that is the Johari window model. Okay? This, for those who are not aware or are not familiar with this model, is very interesting because it defines what I know about myself, what other people know about myself, what I don't know about myself, and also what other people don't know about myself. So let me explain to you a little bit of that window. All right? So if we go to the first quadrant, is the open area or arena, that is called as well. That basically is like what I know about myself and other people also know about myself. Okay, so basically is what is out there, what everybody knows about us, right? I know it, you know it. Why? Well, because it's it's open. This is quite simple to understand. Also, in the same line of what I know about myself, there are things that other people do not know about myself, right? This would be the hidden area or facade. And this basically is those activities or those skills that I know I have, but maybe I'm not demonstrating or not demonstrating enough to other people. So how can I make this more obvious, or how can I make those skills that maybe can help me to grow into another level or to reach the next milestone in my professional career? How do I do it? Well, the question is very simple. By demonstrating, by acting, by doing, sorry, not acting, by doing, right? If other people are not seeing those strengths of mine or those abilities, I'm sorry to tell you that it's like they don't exist. So imagine if you want to be promoted to another position, a higher position. You're ready for it, but your boss or the one that has to make the decision has no clue about those skills that you have. You're not going to get that job. So make sure that you demonstrate those skills that you have. Okay? By doing. Talking is easy. When you really demonstrate is when you do it. Okay? So I think that one is clear as well. I hope so. Then the following, let's say, side of the window is the one that is not known to myself, but known to others. And that would be the blind spot. Yeah, that was what I was saying about what I was saying before about people knowing good things about me that I do, or skills about me, or things that I exceed at, but I have no idea why, because they have always been there. It's like they come with my DNA. So so basically I'm not even aware that I'm good at something. That's a blind spot for me. How do you think you could find out about that? Well, here the question is not really, yeah, it's how do I find out about this, but who could give you that information, right? Who can really give you that information? Well, the people that are around you. You can ask for feedback. You can have a conversation with someone that is working with you, or someone that knows you very well, or someone that maybe you just worked in a project but can give you information. So do not hesitate to ask people, because by receiving feedback is one of the ways that we learn the most. So go ahead, ask. You can even blame me, because there is here the exercise that I'm going to suggest, that is, you write those like questions that you want to find out from other people about yourself. So what do you think I am good at? Or what do you think are the areas that I should focus more, or that I could improve? Or those are the things, but you can even focus it more in the positive, right? So that you learn about yourself in those ways that other people value. So as I was saying, you can prepare a list of questions, and then say, well, I'm doing an exercise that I have been requested to know more about myself, and this is for my development. So thank you very much for helping me to develop, because by receiving feedback is one of the best ways for me to know how to keep growing. And then the not known to self, we're going to the last corner of the window, the area of not known to self and not known to others. So basically that's the unknown. If I don't know, others don't know, it's like it doesn't exist. Well, it does exist. Why? Because there is a way to make that corner smaller. The bigger the open area is, and the smaller the other areas, the more visible you will be. And you need to be exposed to have new opportunities. So how can we make that corner smaller? Well, my suggestion here is that you go out from your comfort zone. Yeah, the comfort zone again. You have probably heard about it a lot. But are you really challenging yourself to go out of this comfort zone? Are you trying new things? Are you trying new activities? Are you investing in learning more? If you are, congratulations. And never stop doing, because the more, it's not really going out of the comfort zone, is expanding it. So you expand it by doing, by trying new things, and also by demonstrating to other people what you are achieving. That's a way to make that corner smaller. So here is the exercise. Analyze yourself. Analyze yourself with the open area. You can get that out of the feedback that you can request to other people. And you can have a conversation, or you can even email people with those questions like, please, I'm doing this exercise. I would be very grateful for your help. And you will be amazed probably and surprised with the information that you get out of this exercise. It's very, very interesting as well because it will give you a lot of information that you can share, for instance, in selection processes, or that you can share in the professional environment. So here is my suggestion, and my recommendation is that you try this Johari window model for yourself. It's really, really very interesting. So let's continue with self-esteem. So we have seen a way of developing and deepening in the self-awareness and self-esteem that may sound a little bit similar, but you'll see that it's quite different. Why? Because I would like to clarify first what self-esteem is not about. Self-esteem is not about ego, is not about unrealistic pride, and is not about selfishness. Self-esteem is much more than that. And unfortunately, it has been related quite often to big egos, to, too much pride. And have a healthy self-esteem is very important to be able to stand out, to be able to demonstrate how good you are. And it's good because it will also make you feel good about yourself. Okay, so let me tell you about what is self-esteem about. Self-esteem is about knowing your value, knowing that you can, and furthermore, knowing that you deserve it. Again, since I work in the development area, also for individuals, I find quite often that when someone has a barrier, like they cannot continue, they cannot reach their goals, and sometimes, unfortunately, quite often, underneath that barrier, you find people thinking that they don't deserve it. Maybe, internal dialogues, that inner voice that is telling you you're not good enough, or you have not worked, you have to work harder, or you have not done a good job in this specific situation. And you have to be very aware and conscious about those internal dialogues and conversations, because they can really destroy your self-esteem. So please think about that. Think about how you talk to yourself. Think about what you tell to yourself when maybe things do not go as you expected or as you wanted. And this is not about blaming others. No, it's about learning about everything. Learning about the good, but learning about the bad things too. Or the bad situations, or the situations that could go better. So think about that, and also recognize your value. Recognize the things that you've done, the things that you have learned, and have that mindset of, okay, this has not worked this time, but how can I make it work for the next time? How can I, learn from the things that have not maybe helped, and that can help me to do better in the next opportunity, right? And this mindset will really help you to get very far or very close. It really depends where you want to be, but that mindset, that continuous development mindset, will help you to also enjoy more the the process of reaching your goals. And I wanted to share also about the self-esteem, a little story, because once I was, talking to somebody who used to be a high-level manager, and he was all about work. He was all about delivering, and there was a point where he got fired, and his whole world just got destroyed, like this. Why? Because his value was only focused on what he was doing professionally. So when that just dies or stops working, it's like your whole life just stops working too. This is why, and we worked a little bit about that, no? In also recognizing the value of the little things that he invested in his professional life, and also we worked towards enriching that side. This is why I was also mentioning about the personal side of your file, because life at the end is not made only by one thing. It's like if you only focus on your personal life but you forget about all the rest, your life may be lacking. But here we come to talk about balance, right? So if there is no right or wrong balance, there is right or wrong balance for you. What works for you in this certain moment of your life? This is what you have to think when you are designing your life and your professional future. Because we are evolving, we are changing, and what works for you at this certain moment of time may not work in the future. So make sure you think about that balance that works for you in this moment, and then when you think about 5 years time or 10 years time or whatever you want to think, the timeline that you want to think, what do you think it could work for you? And then just keep walking. Okay? So very important points about this self-esteem. Watch your internal language, your internal communication, and recognize the things and all the good things about you, and also all the things that can be improved, because that's gonna help you to keep growing. All right? So I hope this is clear. And now let me give you a little bit of information about how to demonstrate the best of yourself. Because when you have designed what you want to do, or the main parts of your life, it's time to go to the doing, to start making things happen. And one of the things that you have to be very aware of is that there is no perfect candidate or perfect. Now I'm talking about maybe selection processes or promotions, etc. in your professional life. There is no perfect candidate. I have worked over 10 years in human resources, and I have interviewed thousands of people. And I can assure you that there is no perfect candidate, or there is no perfect job. There is perfect match or very good match. And that's what you will have to look for. And that's what interviewers will be looking for. That perfect match. So make sure that you can demonstrate the best of yourself in an interview. Why? Because you don't have to pretend to be someone else, or you don't have to demonstrate that job has to be yours. No, You don't have to put the focus outside. You have to put the focus inside. So you demonstrate all the good things that you have, all your strengths, all your knowledge, your experience, what you can offer to the organization. And also, why not? You have to take into account what they are looking for, of course. Why? But just to focus on providing them your reasons, the reasons that you find yourself for being that perfect match. Okay? And how something very important, because at the end of the day you have some time for that first interview, you have a little bit of time for that other next interview, and in those periods of time you need to be in the best state that you can to be able to really demonstrate the best of yourself. How can you do that? Well, I'm going to share with you a great gift that I received from the neuro-linguistic programming. That is 6 steps to freedom. These 6 steps that I'm going to explain to you are the perfect training for you to put in practice to make sure that you are in your perfect state. And this perfect state is the perfect state like to empower you. If we are thinking about an interview, this is empowerment. This would be also calm, right? So we don't want really nerves to be going on. We want to be calm and empowered. So if you think about that state, my proposal here is that you think about that experience that you have already lived, where you really felt empowered, where you knew you could do it, where you knew where you actually did it, and where you succeed. Connect yourself with that situation. Think about it. Think about that special thing that you achieved, that you did great, and that where you felt really empowered. Think about the surroundings. Think about yourself. What were you feeling? Did you feel strength in your legs, in your arms maybe? Were you looking at something particular? Was that situation special for you for certain reasons? So think about those details that define that situation. It's like taking a mental picture of that situation and keep it in mind. Hold it there, because we are going to use it. First step, identify the internal trigger. The internal trigger of the situation where you are going to need that empowerment, that maybe makes you feel a little bit nervous or uncomfortable. So what do you feel? Do you feel like your stomach becomes a little bit tight, or do you feel hot, or do you feel, I don't know, like tension in your back? Think about those little messages that your body is sending to you. Think about those just to identify, okay? Because that's a message that is sending your body to yourself, that is really claiming you to follow these following steps, okay? So you have that trigger there. What do I do now? Breathe, okay? Take 1, 2, or 3 deep breaths. And why you have to do that? Because that conscious breathing will make you stop going into that circle of nervousness, of insecurity. So that breathing will make your brain focus on something else. It's like you're cutting that circle that you don't want to go in, okay? Third step, question and answer. You ask yourself, what state do I want? How do I want to feel? And you answer, empowered or calm. And then the fourth step, establish the new step. How do you do that? Here is where we're going to use this picture, this mental picture that we have taken, and we're gonna connect with it. We're gonna really feel like if we were there again. Why? Because we are connecting ourselves with that situation of empowerment. You're using that, and then you name the new state. How do you want to call to that situation? It may be empowerment, or it may be something more personal, like the name of the person that was with you, your name, the name of that of that place where you were. Give it a name. It can be only a word, but that you can think about it, and you say that name, power, or whatever name you give it. And then you come back to present, connected with that name, with that situation, with that new state that you want for yourself. And you will see, obviously you have to practice this. This is not like you go now into an interview, you think about those steps, and done, you have that empowerment state. No, I recommend you to practice this. Maybe you can just, include it in a daily practice, few minutes of connecting with that empowerment, and you will see this is like going to the gym. You will see that the more you train, the easiest is going to be for you to get to that stage whenever you want. This is why it is called 6 steps to freedom, because it really gives you the freedom to choose the state where you want to be. And it works. It has been proven. NLP is really, really powerful. Why? Because it is providing you with simple exercises that really can make a real change and a big difference in your life, or in your state, or even in your mind. Because you probably know that when you are nervous or you are insecure, you are not really you're not really giving the best of yourself. You're not really in control. Maybe other emotions are in control, but you are not the one in control at that moment. So by empowering you with this exercise, you can really demonstrate the best of yourself. That's the key focus for an interview. The main goal when you go to an interview is not to get that job, because that really doesn't depend only on you. That depends on other people, on the interviewer, on other candidates, on who knows. But what does depend on you is to give the best of yourself. And with exercises like this, you can really reach that. All right? So please put this in practice, because it works. This is actually, this or very similar, are techniques that are used by very popular and important people, for those great speakers. They use techniques like this to become in the state where you want to be. You cannot go from this to this. You really have different, you have to follow a little, let's say, little procedure, let's call it like that, to get to that point. But that exercise can take really what it takes you to give a deep breath. Why? Because you identify, oh, I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling my stomach like this. I breathe. I ask myself, what state do I want? I want empowerment. Then I establish the new state. I have my own picture. So I connect with that picture. I name it with the name that I've given it to myself. That's private. And then I come back to present and I really feel empowered. So basically, and just to finish with this, I want you to have this last message, that is, that you are the protagonist of your own life. You are the main character and you are in control. So make sure you have that control and that you are really following the path that you want, that is going to take you to where you want to be. I hope you have enjoyed this mini session. I really hope you put in practice these exercises that I'm providing you with, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Bye.